Awesome. Call to order and roll call. Should we start with that?
Commissioner Gupta? Commissioner Fleischer?
Here.
Chair Mascali?
Here.
Okay, 3 members are present.
Great. Let's start off.
Said I was absent. I am here.
Did it say you were absent? Okay, that's not good. Hold on. Let's go back then.
Yeah, that's important,
Have you marked as present?
especially with only 3 of us here.
Okay, I'm going to start it again. I have you marked as present. I'm sorry it showed up wrong up there, but it's definitely right on here.
Cool.
So I'm not sure why. Okay, let's keep going.
Okay. If we could have everyone stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just a minute, I need to make sure we're still on Zoom. Sorry, I lost the Zoom in trying to get the presentation, so I need a minute to get back on that because I'm the host of it, so that it's recording.
Don't worry, take your time.
I can't. Do you still see the Zoom, Sam?
I am, yeah.
Okay. Then I'm not, hopefully then he's the host. Okay. Next.
Okay, do we have any public comments for items not on the agenda?
No, we don't.
Okay. Do we have any receipt of correspondence?
No, we don't.
Okay. Cool. Should we move on with the agenda items?
Yes.
Okay. And I believe now is where our artist laureate can.
Take your time. Let me put on your presentation. It's coming. Okay.
Shall I start?
Yes, ma'am. We
Great.
are all ears.
Please introduce yourself for the minutes, although it'll be clear here.
Hi, I'm Victoria Marks, and I'm standing here to give a report of the first 4 months of the Artist Laureate situation here in Culver City. So I'll just begin and say that, I began as Artist Laureate July 1, and it's October 21, and I'll tell you a little bit about what I've been doing over the past 4 months. Oh, yes, sorry. Next slide, please. Do I point here? Yes, okay. I wanted to just say that these 4 months in, I've been meeting with people, I've been going to events, and the experience for me has been about getting a bird's eye view of a city. Like actually, perhaps each of you have that because of your perspectives, but it's been an extraordinary process, and And the questions I'm asking myself as I move through this period is, how do people care for and belong to a city? And I began by sending a letter of introduction to all the employees of Culver City with two main questions. What are the conversations between people in Culver City that are waiting to happen? And what groups of people within Culver City will benefit from talking to one another more? And one of the things that has come up in that question, and I've been asking that question beyond employees of the city, but also others that I've met, is that there are big changes that are occurring in the city, and there's an older city and a newer city, or it's a generational change. And so this is a thread that I'm paying attention to. I'll come back to it. So among the things that I have done is I joined the Culver City Summer Concert Series and had an interview with Tom Welsh in August the 21st. I attended the Culver City Arts Foundation Board of Directors meeting, in which I introduced myself and shared some of the projects I hope to accomplish. One of the things that was really exciting about the meeting was that I realized that not only did I not know anyone there, but a number of the people there did not know one another. And so I did what I do, which is I asked them to introduce themselves with three sentences that begin with, "I come from." And by that I meant, like, I come from dance, or I come from New Jersey, or I come from hoping to see a total eclipse. And so everyone went around the table, and I feel as though people got to know one another a whole lot better. And this is probably an example of what I tend to do when I have the opportunity. I attended the first artist meetup of the fall at the Culver Hotel, and again, I asked everyone to introduce themselves and talk about what they were doing. So I'd like to think about, in terms of the arts community as well, thinking about how we can activate not only coming together, but doing things dynamically when we do come together. I've also had private meetings, individual meetings with Bubba Fish, with Kim Mitchell, Heather Moses, Alicia Ide, and Jill Thompson. And importantly, spent quite a bit of time with Hope Parrish, learning about the history of Culver City. And Hope also invited me to think about how the city has grown and changed and what it means to be a town that was once focused around a single industry, and a city that is much more complex in terms of different neighborhoods, work projects, and characters. And of course, I meet monthly with my team. I like to think of you as my team: Sally, Sam, and Lee. The first big project was this past week at the Culver City Arts Walk. I had developed, because I don't make objects that can be displayed, I was trying to think of how to create a booth that would be an activation for the people who are on the streets. And so I created Connecting Culver City, a live, a cumulative crowdsourced video and music installation. My project was to create a video and sonic quilt composed of people at the Art Walk. And you can see some of our teens who were helping us and participating. Dylan and Cassie were both our helpers, our docents. And the main question I asked, because it was also No King's Day, and there were people coming from demonstrations and protests, and I wanted to take on board where we all were, not necessarily because we had protested, but my question was, what is your hope for the community you live in? And now, I think, if this works for me, I have a video to show you. Let's see if I can activate that. Do you have some more volume? Great. So we had over 50 people come and spend some time with us in response to the question, what is your hope for the community you live in? Some people talk about projects in Culver City. Some people like the camera. And we created the beginnings of something that I hope can grow while I'm here as an artist laureate, a bicyclist. Yes, some characters you know. Yeah. You probably couldn't hear it very well, but Jesse Perlman was with us, a composer, and he was taking people's words about what they hope for and mixing it into a sound score. So you heard some of that as well as the sounds from the street. What am I learning as I encounter Culver City, and what are the conversations that I can facilitate? I tried to find a picture of like old and new. You'll have to use your imagination there. It does look like an old building falling down, but, and that's not how I imagine Culver City. As I spoke about when I applied for this position was that I wanted to conduct action conversations here in community, which means for me that I would bring groups of people together to move and to talk, to create performance and video. This is just a still from a project that I've done before, but I think it raises a question of the ways in which we are on two sides sometimes of a topic or a subject. And one of the ways I'm thinking about activating action conversations is to, in January, start to set up a weekly free drop-in community action conversation. I would love to have your thoughts and support on how to make that happen, but I think that that's a good way for me to continue to build community and also my practice in Culver City. So here is my last slide. I welcome your feedback, your observations, and your questions. This feels like a very rich moment as I've been active and encountering the city, and I feel like I'm now starting to make some plans for how to move forward. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all very exciting. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm most excited about the fact that the outcome of this is content which we can use to better understand our city and then also present our city. I know a lot of people probably in the beginning thought to themselves, like, how can the artist laureate not produce physical objects? But I mean, now that I'm looking at it from a new lens, I see that this is equally valuable because in the kind of modern era that we live in, a majority of the content that is created or the art that's created is consumed digitally. So this gives us a brief window to kind of explore doing meaningful art in a digital environment, that can help us kind of, and I like that the kind of like the thesis of your work sometimes is rooted in almost like group therapy, like we're all coming, we're all kind of like coming together to talk about really awkward things that we might not want to talk about, but we're putting it behind artwork and choreography and dance, and we're calling it, kind of like the public expression of creativity. And I think that really helps soften it. If you told everyone, let's come into a room and talk about all the things that we disagree with, people might be like kind of averse, but it's done through a different kind of angle, which I think is very useful. And I'm really curious, in the individual instances and vignettes of these people, like later on, I'm sure you're going to break it out and have certain edits where you can understand what they're saying and, kind of like the different viewpoints and ideologies that are represented over time.
Could I respond to that?
Yes, go for it.
Yeah. So the Connecting Culver City project that I created for the Art Walk, I see that as something that can build and grow. Like I can go to parks and so on and continue to gather little portraits. That feels like its own project that can develop. And I know that there's the screenings on the Helms building, that, that there are venues or platforms for that kind of work. For the action conversations, I would like, maybe I could just take a moment to talk a little bit about what that process is. Like, I get what you're saying about it being kind of like therapy. So the participants, the performers, are members of our community here. Generally, I'm liking the idea that there feels like there's two groups that are coming together. I'm not here to tackle one of the big gigantic political issues that we're facing. I don't think that my methodology is the best way for that, but bringing two groups of people into a room together, perhaps generationally different groups who knew the old Culver City, I think it's sometimes referred to as Culver in Culver City, although I'm not sure which is which, so I have more to learn there, but basically is to come together and move. There's not like a let's talk about difficult things angle. There's actually like, let's, think about how we use space in a room. And let's make, let's grow our space, or let's catch somebody when they are falling. Or what does it feel like to, and then oftentimes after somebody, for example, we do an improvisation, it might have music happening in it. Where we're running and we're catching people who are starting to fall, the conversation changes after that. Hey, let's talk about what we just did. And then sometimes what comes up is like, I was a first responder. I've always had to catch people when they fell. Or it felt so amazing to be supported by somebody I don't know that well. And so there's a conversation. We don't go into like, what is the deep meaning here? We then move again. And these become performative elements that are filmed or performed live. I would love to do a live performance here, maybe at the Vendée, if we can get into their very busy schedule. But yeah, so sort of like that. I'm very careful to avoid presenting a psychological framework, because I just think that when we get together and we move and we talk, we could peel the onion a little bit, and it brings us closer together without, now I know these things about you. That's not my goal. So I distinguish it from therapy, and I think that's important because I'm not licensed to be a therapist.
No, that's a great point, and thank you for sharing. And I think you mentioned it yourself just as a follow-up. I think for these weekly action conversations, the Wednesday would be a great option, even if it's during the week on a not-so-busy night. And I think there's other venues in the city that might also be available to you. And yeah, that's my last comment. But thank you so much for the update. It's really great.
And may I bring up one more thing?
Yes.
So if I can start doing those in January as a kind of a weekly activity, my hope is that larger numbers of people will know there's this thing that's going on, and that then I can also I'd really like to do a performance, a live performance on the Culver Steps that is kind of a pop-up performance of people. It's not advertised, there's not a place for people to sit, but things are happening in the Culver Steps. And again, the performers are members of our community. But I think in order to do that, I have to build community, a regularity. I need to be a regular presence. Thanks for letting me add that too.
Chair Muscali, can you call on each of the commissioners to comment?
Yes.
Thank you.
Commissioner Fleischer, do you have anything to add?
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to see what I saw at the interviews and see it starting to come to life. So it's really exciting because I feel like I've been there from the very beginning. So thank you for this presentation today. I wanted to echo a few things that you said, just to let everybody know that what you're doing is really important and just, in my opinion, right on the right track. Bringing the arts community together, I love that, and I hope that we can find a way through your action conversations, or you can find a way to create that. So that could be a space that you explore. So I would really love to see that. You mentioned the changing city. That has been here since I moved here 30 years ago. There's always been, Mayberry and then Culver City, right? So, but I think the best way to encapsulate that, I'm sure you guys already know this, and that is the heart of Screenland and the heart of Streamland, right? So we definitely have that dichotomy, and there are forces that pull in both directions, and I find that interesting and fascinating. It would really be something neat to explore that we, even old Culver Cityans, can really learn something from. So I love that idea. So just some clarification. So the video that you created, I think you started to explain it. Is that kind of the kernel of what these action conversations are going to be? It's completely separate. Is that kind of video presentation, do you expect that kind of thing to come up again? Or was really this just for the art walk? So if you could just explain that a little
Yeah,
bit.
thank you, Tanya. That's a great question. I was just trying to rack my brain, like, how do I, as a performance maker, go make a booth at an art walk? And so, Lee and Sam could probably tell you, at first I thought, maybe we could have a kissing booth, but I didn't want to be anybody involved in the kissing. But so it's really, it kind of got created from the ground up in order to respond to the environment of the art walk. Like, how could I invite people to participate and introduce myself and start to do some of the work of connecting Culver City? Because I think that's probably like the main frame. But now that that's happened, I've been thinking, oh, this could grow too, as its own thing. Like, maybe for 2 years, I could just collect portraits after portraits after portraits. And maybe the question continues to be, what do you hope for Culver City? Or maybe the portraits sort of morph into something else. But I think there's something powerful when you see yourself as part of a larger group. And, that the sense of belonging grows.
Definitely.
And so I think there's something there.
Yeah.
It's not an action conversation.
Right. Well,
And I welcome your thoughts about how it could grow.
Well, part of what I love about the Artist Laureate program, and certainly from all the Artist Laureates that we had, and including you, is I adore the creative process and watching your creative brains think and go through that process. So I'm really happy that the Art Walk event really is spurring you on to thinking about other things. And so, I'm happy to think about that too, and send you my thoughts. And let's see. Yeah, in terms of the drop-ins, I have a couple things to say about that. You want to do weekly drop-ins? That's a lot, just saying. Just mind your own time and your own self-care. That's a
Yeah.
lot. So you may want to just think about that. And then just to step back, but also it's connected to the weekly drop-ins, we're going to need from the staff a pretty strong social media push and letting people know when these events are happening. And at the same time, did you happen to get contact information for all those people who visited your booth?
About half of them.
Okay, yeah,
I
I mean,
know.
that's a
It
start
was,
too,
like-
right? To start to
Yeah.
gather that, and let's see, maybe Asan remembers that I'm not very social media savvy, but did either of our previous artist laureates have their own
Katie
Facebook
did.
page or something?
I know Katie had a mailing, she collected people's
Yeah,
contacts.
so we just somehow need to get the word out, right, as much as possible. That's going to be really important for you, because when you talk about bringing people together weekly, how are we going to know, how's anyone going to know with everybody's busy lives? So
Yeah.
we do need to figure out how to connect, and it's got to be multifaceted, because you've got to do everything from flyers to, I don't want to say you're going to make a TikTok video, but you get the scope there, right? It's so we can try to bring in as many different people as possible. So that's just part of what you'll need to work on, maybe with the subcommittee and with the staff, on how to make that happen and kind of create a plan for that. We haven't really had to do that with previous artist laureates, right? So this one, I think, is going to have a really strong communications push. And then in terms of where to do things, I mean, I have the obvious ones: parks, the senior center, the schools, the after-school programs. The one thing that is very important to me, it's also important to me in our Performing Arts Grant program, is the neighborhoods. We have so many distinct neighborhoods that it would be wonderful to be able to go to all of those neighborhoods. Just, I don't know, on a Saturday morning, just set up shop somewhere that's safe and be able to talk to people and engage them. I mean, you're so engaging, right? You bring everybody in so easily. It's definitely one of your extremely strong gifts. So yes, for sure. So that's very important to me, that it not just be focused on, let's say, Vets Park or Carlson Park or downtown, that you really go to Fox Hills and West Culver City, even the Helms District. Obviously, we can talk about the businesses. I mean, they're brainstorming some lists, I think, is maybe a good idea, and I'm happy to try to think of that too.
That's great.
Yeah, and then you might want to think about, well, how many people do you want in these groups, right? And are you going to, I don't know if that matters to you, but it's something that I certainly would think about if I was going to be in front of a group of people. How many do you want to be managing? Maybe you're good at doing a small group or a large group or anything in between, but I would just have that be something that you consider. And I would definitely consider how often you want to do these, just because that's a lot of your time.
It's a little bit of a problem, because I think regularity is what enables people to be like, oh yeah, I'll go next week, or I heard about it and it's happening again.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's, it's a big commitment, but it's also a value of my own regularity.
How long do you want each of these events to be, these weekly events, just as maybe ballpark it for me?
Well, I'm really thinking about this as like a way to be present. I could probably, from as small as 2 to as big as 20, but I imagine that it wouldn't be that many people. But the drop-in idea does not build performance. What I think it does is it builds interest. Like, oh, yeah, that was fun, or I did something I never did before, and I'm going to stay in contact with you because that was interesting to do that. Not me, but interested to stay in contact with somebody else. Or so I would hope that maybe if I did like a couple of months or 3 months of drop-ins, that maybe there would be like a group of 10 people or so who would say, let's keep going. And that's when I would say, okay, great, we're going to meet every week, us 10. And we're going to work on performance. We're going to create something with a beginning, middle, and end.
Great.
That's my thought about how to do it.
That sounds fabulous. I like that idea very much. So, yeah, just a caution to manage your own time. And
I know.
I know, because I know it's exciting and you want to do a lot, but then you just have to be aware of that. I love that you met with the staff, all of the employees. I think that's also a place, I don't know, do people take lunch breaks outside of City Hall when they're working here? I don't know, but maybe sitting out in the courtyard during lunchtime might be something. It's a nice place to sit anyway.
Great idea.
And then staff at all kinds of places, right? We have staff at the Parks and Rec, we have staff at all the schools, right? Not the teachers, but the staff that work there. I think that would be pretty interesting. Because then you're meeting people who are, maybe they don't live here, but they work here, and so they have a connection to the community that's different perspective from those of us who actually live here and work here or don't work here. Yeah, I think that's enough for now. I may have other ideas as time goes by, but thank you again for presenting. It's really important that we get these updates. I think it's good for all of us to hear about them and to kind of help you along your journey. You're not in this alone. We're here for you. We got your back.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Fleischer. Commissioner Gupta?
Oh, yes, okay, thank you. Well, I am on the subcommittee, so a lot of this is not new to me, but what I do want to say is, I watched the booth on Saturday, and I was so moved because you really captured these moments, but I was also struck by not only seeing the video tonight, but the reaction of the crowd around, people were really mesmerized and watching what's going on in that booth, and they could hear the sound. So I want to make sure we know that just the video coming out of Saturday was just one aspect, and it really was multifaceted. So I think that was very, very exciting. And then, I mean, you covered a lot of what I was going to say in terms of the bridge of the past and the present, and I think the neighborhoods and making sure that, there's representation in all the neighborhoods and schools and the senior center. So I think I'd love to work more on how we can make that happen.
Yeah.
And I do also want to be conscientious of your time. And so, even though they may be small organic drop-ins, that can really add up. So maybe we dedicate, with the city, we work to kind of come up with like a Terrific Tuesday with Victoria or something, where we brand it so people will know, hey, Victoria is going to be, our artist laureate will be, in Fox Hills this week. And, maybe it's every other week. That way we're being conscientious, because also we want to look at that output, and that's a lot to digest,
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm excited for, again, like Commissioner Fleischman said, seeing the evolution. Now it's really starting to pick up steam, and I'm excited to see what happens in the, winter and in the spring, and doing, kind of culminating into maybe a larger, event somewhere. So, yeah, I don't think I have too much more to say. But, yeah, thank you.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you, Shona, Commissioner Gupta, and everyone here. I can really see that going to neighborhoods is important, but also the challenge is how to catch people so they gather, and how and where. Where, when,
Right.
who. So I would very much, I'd be very grateful for support in thinking all of that through.
So something that I just thought of is, how there's these very popular food trucks, and they say where they're going to be at a certain time, and then everybody goes there? That's what we need. We need something like that. I don't know how it exactly translates, but I know that that's a thing. People follow certain food trucks around, and they see where they're going to be located, and so that might be a fun thing to do somehow. Maybe
That's a gathering point. Yeah,
exactly. And you have different gathering points around the city.
that's a really interesting idea.
Cool, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Should we move on to the action items? Yep, action item A1. Appointment of vice chair, and 2, creation of an ad hoc historic preservation subcommittee, and assignment of commissioners to fill existing vacancies on the Artist Laureate, Performing Arts Grant, Communications and Outreach, Creative Economy and Cultural Plan, and 2028 Olympic and Paralympic Games, Cultural Olympiad Subcommittees, and the newly created Historic Preservation Subcommittee. Do you guys have any,
Do you have a staff, is there a staff report?
is there a staff report?
No. Oh,
There is not.
I thought Jesse was,
I'm happy to take any questions, but I think the title of the item speaks for itself.
It's quite self-explanatory,
Yeah.
right?
and Sally stressed that we don't have to do all of these tonight. These are just things that are pending, but that there are a couple of them that are more urgent than others.
Sure, yeah, I read that.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the first part of it, where we need to appoint a vice chair, I personally would like to nominate Tanya, because she has a wealth of experience, and I think it would be very beneficial for continuity. That's my first order of business.
I accept that nomination.
I second that motion.
Okay. So I'm going to actually do it and start a motion for it.
Sounds good.
Let's see. How do I insert a new motion? Let's see. Okay, appointment of Vice Chair, Commissioner Fleischer. Moved by Chair Mascali, seconded by Commissioner Gupta. Hold on. Why is, sorry, hold on, sorry. Motion to adjourn is not right. Approve. Oh. I'm sorry, I got to cancel that because it has, sorry, it says to adjourn, which is not right. I'm going to try the vote again.
Do we need to do them all at once? Because it's all one
We
agenda
can
item?
do,
Or do we
we
have
can
to?
do them, okay.
Do multiple motions.
We can do multiples. Okay, if it's on your screen, please start voting. If not, I'll call. Okay. All members have voted, and the motion passes with 3 ayes. So we can continue and then do other motions.
Okay, that sounds good. That brings us to the discussion of who's going to occupy the different subcommittees for the time being. And I do agree with staff recommendations that the biggest task at hand, and at least for a temporary while, until we put out a call for additional commissioners, is the more sensitive subcommittees, and that is Creative Economy Cultural Plan and Performing Arts Grant Program. I'm personally willing to sit on the Creative Economy and Cultural Plan just for continuity, and I think I have a background that fits it.
And I think there's a lot of important work happening for that, and I think we need someone with a little bit of experience. So I'm going to go ahead and ruin my life further and take on the responsibility of all the stuff that goes with that committee, since I know it's going to be pretty hardcore. But yeah, that's my first comment. And for performing arts grant, we have Commissioner Fleischer already holding that down. I would like her opinion on that. Do you think you need help, I mean, in the immediate, or should we keep it vacant for a few months until we get new blood? Up to you.
So we are in the midst of it right now, and I would love it if Commissioner Gupta could serve on that, because we have some big decisions to make once the panel is, we're in a new system this year, so I would very much appreciate having a second commissioner on that committee right now.
I would love to assist you.
Great.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I would also like to second Chair Ms. Scully's appointment to the Cultural Plan Subcommittee, because that is also taking place right now, and we need to keep moving forward on that, and you'll be able to hit the ground running.
Sure, thank you. Okay, that sounds good. And I have a feeling the rest of them for now, we can keep vacant. I just wanted to ask staff, what is their opinion on the Historic Preservation Subcommittee, since we are creating it, but it's not really, it doesn't seem like it's extremely urgent within the next 2 or 3 months, so we could put myself on it, since I know eventually it's going to include architecture, and so I have a feeling that it might, like the Venn diagram, might go over with my expertise to some extent, so I'm willing to hold it down, but I don't necessarily think that we need to kind of push it into existence immediately, especially after reading the staff report from Sally saying that murking it up with the tree surrounds and the MGM sign is just, it's not, it doesn't seem like it's necessarily relevant, and it might be just jumping the gun, getting it involved in something that it doesn't have to be involved in. So I would like to know what you guys think about that. If you think that's cool, I'm willing to be on it in the future when it becomes something important and we have additional people. Some of them might fit it better. So ideas, thoughts?
Absolutely, Chair. You read the staff report correctly, and in talking to Sally, you know, we had the exact same conclusion that it was not time sensitive, especially given the conclusions from the consultant regarding the tree surrounds and the MGM sign. But, you know, it could be useful to have further down the road in the future.
So regarding that, I'm just curious about timeline. Is the ordinance, which needs to be updated, is that on this year's work plan? I'm sorry, I don't remember.
It is. So yes, that would be delayed. That is something that would be delayed. But I think that's something that we would probably want to tackle after the cultural community plan, the cultural equity plan. I'm not sure that Sally was going to be able to work on both those at the same time. I could talk to her, but my read is that the historic plan was not something that we were going to be able to get to in the short term, not in the next couple months.
Okay, and then regarding the tree surrounds and the MGM sign, and there was that question of historic preservation, public art, there was, I saw both sides of that, so I really appreciate that. But there was a consultant that was brought in, was it ARG or something? Or they had already met with staff, is that right? Or had they?
Sally already discussed with them the questions about, and I know she met with them because I was on a call and asked them to do the reports. The reports might have come in or might be preliminary, but they're actively working on it.
So if we don't have a historic preservation subcommittee right now, then since it's going to be public art, I would just request that perhaps those consultants, the ARG, could speak to the public art subcommittee, which we do have.
Yes.
And so kind of to keep that process going, and if we have to delay the ordinance, which we've delayed a lot,
Yeah.
but I understand. And I agree with you, Jesse, that we should have, we're going to need time to do the cultural plan. It's going to take up quite a bit of staff time and our time as well. just to keep in mind, I have been speaking to people in the community about whether they'd be interested in serving, but it seems like if we can have the Tree Surrounds MGM sign move over to public art and be discussed by the subcommittee, that maybe we're in a good place there.
That is where they were.
Right, but I'm saying, but
so-
with the consultant, bringing the consultant in to talk.
that idea.
Talk to him, yeah. And then I don't know, did you want to continue with that, or are we good? So, Shona, sorry, Commissioner Gupta, if you'll have me, I would love to rejoin the Artist Laureate Subcommittee, because I think there's going to be a lot to do. It's really different from what we've had in the past, and I think the more support we can give her, also with our time constraints, so it's not just all on you, because it's really going to be a different animal this time. So I wouldn't mind extending myself and being back on that
I
subcommittee.
welcome that, thank you.
Great,
And
so
I-
we'll be on.
And I'd like to third it. Yeah, I was going to suggest it to you, but I thought you might be offended by how much work I'm putting on you.
Yeah, I'm just not going to think about it too much. So where does that leave us? I guess it leaves us with the
So
Olympics?
The Olympics and would have a vacancy, and the communications and outreach
that's
would have a
right.
vacancy.
Yeah. I'm not mad about that, to be honest. I have a feeling that we need to put out the word and speak to our networks and do, I think, another round of candidate outreach.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that for the time being, Olympics, there's not really much going on. LA County is super behind anyway, and like there's this vague, ambiguous, relationship with New Zealand that's still kind of baking. So we don't really know what's going on. Like all of Culver City might just become the New Zealand show, which is cool. But like we don't really know how that's going to impact the Cultural Olympiad and our, involvement and all that. So that one is really kind of slow for activity at the moment. So I'm not worried about it. And then communications and outreach. If it does get to a point, I have a marketing background, so I'm willing to step in. But I also feel that and the Olympics both, we might find someone who kind of fits the expertise in the near future. So. If you don't mind, if the rest of the commissioners are cool with it for the time being at least, we'll just keep those open.
So what I would suggest there, because I believe Sally said that the first meeting of that subcommittee would be in December. Maybe we could revisit it in November, or since I am officially on that subcommittee, I could have a conversation with her about what that's going to entail, and then see if I feel like I can carry that on my own, which I never want to, right? I'd always like to have a second commissioner there, but we can see what she's thinking about for that and work together, or perhaps I can come back to you and suggest that it's perhaps time to fill that.
Sure, exactly. If at any point you feel like it's too much to carry on your own, then I'm definitely willing to support that as well.
Okay.
Yes. Can I help you? Is it too late to comment on anything? Did you want to comment on something that's on our agenda tonight? Yes, I did, but I didn't know if the items not as well. You can either comment on our agenda item, which is this one, or on items not on the agenda.
I can't do both.
We've already handled this agenda item. You could comment on the items not on the agenda, which is coming up.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay, and what's your name?
Denise.
Neil, yes, okay, thank you. Okay, so the motion would be no changes to the Standing Public Art Subcommittee. The Ad hoc Artist Laureate Subcommittee would be Vice Chair Fleischer and Commissioner Gupta. The Creative Economy and Cultural Plan Ad hoc Subcommittee would be Vice Chair Fleischer and Chair Mascali. The 2025-26 Culver City Arts Foundation would remain Commissioner Gupta and Chair Mascali. The 2026 Performing Arts Grant Program would be Vice Chair Fleischer, Commissioner Gupta. The other two subcommittees and the proposed subcommittees would just be on hold. And that doesn't mean there can't be topics or information about those things. It just means there would not be separate ad hoc subcommittees for them. So if that sounds correct, yes.
So it's not that there aren't, because there is at least one person on the other ones, right?
But
So
they-
there could be meetings, or can you not have, because, I
There
mean, you-
wouldn't be meetings, there could definitely be topics, or there could be agenda items or something on those. And you could still talk to Sally about them, for instance.
okay, so, but they wouldn't be considered an official subcommittee meeting
They would-
because there aren't two people on it?
No, well, they wouldn't.
Really?
We'll keep them on the list with a vacancy.
Okay, because for performing arts grants, I've been the only one for months, right?
Right.
And we've had meetings, so whether, it's all semantics if you're calling it a subcommittee meeting, but, yeah, I just want to follow the proper process here. I don't want to get rid of the ones that only have one person on them.
The standing one, we couldn't. And we only had one official subcommittee of the Performing Arts Grants Program without a
July.
member. Yeah.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean work can't move forward. It just means that there wouldn't be a active subcommittee.
Okay, except I just want to make sure that the member on the subcommittee, whether it be the Olympics or the Performing Arts Grants, that we are still included in the conversations as we would if we were a fully staffed subcommittee.
I believe so,
Right?
yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Great.
I know Sally intends to continue to reach
Yeah.
out and keep the remaining members, informed as to what's going on. It's just for the purposes of the Brown Act, the standing committees cannot meet without a quorum, but the ad hoc ones can because they're not subject to the Brown Act.
Right, okay. Thank you.
So what I just read off, would somebody like to make a motion? Could someone, oh, you did, great. Okay, and a second?
I seconded.
Okay. Okay, moved by Vice Chair Fleischer, seconded by Commissioner Gupta. Please start voting.
Oh, yep, there it is.
Wow, okay. The motion passes with 3 ayes. Okay.
Thank you very much. Do we have any public comment that's not on the agenda?
We have one speaker that just joined us,
Great.
Denise Neal. Speakers.
Good evening,
Can you just
Culture.
give me one moment to start the timer? I didn't have it ready to go. Just one moment, please, I'm sorry. Denise. Okay, thank you.
Good evening, Cultural Affairs Commission and public listening. There's not many here tonight. There aren't that many. But my name is Denise Neal, and I've been working for some time to try to prepare for the Olympics through the arts because we don't really have the real estate to host sports events. We are a creative economy, and I've been relationship building with an entity called Manchester Bidwell to help us to actually set up within 18 months to 2 years the parks plan and everything that we need to be able to monetize these major world sports events and get our city back in the black. I've been piggybacked on to something called the U.S. India Friendship Project, and a construction company called TCGE, Inc., would like to actually help us to build out the infrastructure we need for the parks, the entertainment venues, the needed housing, and the commercial space that we need for the upcoming events. I understand, however, that there's an anticipated hotel strike coming during the Olympics, and I'd like to know if you have any creative ideas for short-term rentals as a backup, just in case it's true and it actually happens, because this would devastate us, especially since New Zealand's supposed to be taking over the Culver Hotel. If they're on strike, we're going to have problems. So please, if you can, do some due diligence and find out the facts and see what we can do to circumvent the problems that we're going to encounter during those 2 weeks. But even beforehand, we need to see and do some dry runs with the other sports and see what we can do as a creative economy to take full advantage of bringing our economy back here lately. I mean now. Not lately, but we're going through some bad things right now. And, the global strategist of Manchester Bidwell's name is Joanna Papada. She'd like to come out November 10th to 13th in person to be able to talk to all the power players here in Culver City, Santa Monica, and Los Angeles to set up a strategic infrastructure. I've been working on something called the Otter Project. I brought it to Westcog. It's called On the Train, Every Rail. Manchester Bidwell has something called Corridors of Connection, and we're planning to strategically connect our resources along the train lines and our transport corridors to make it convenient for people to get to events here regionally and to also enjoy our entertainment and cultural events. So please think about ways that we can connect along our transport corridors.
Your time has expired. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Neal.
Thanks for sharing. Okay, do we have any items from members or staff?
There was an update from Sally Unsworth that was attached with the, about some of the committee actions that was attached to the staff report. I have a couple of updates about the Performing Arts Grant Program. The application deadline was on September 26th. We received a total of 46 submitted applications. Our system did experience some technical difficulties in the last 2 hours of the deadline due to the high number of forms being submitted and large video files being uploaded. But all of those applications were successfully submitted. 11 of the applications are from organizations that are applying for the first time. The Ad Hoc Performing Arts Grant Program Subcommittee will be bringing a recommendation to the Cultural Affairs Commission meeting on December 16th, and then the award recommendations will be on the City Council agenda in January. We have 4 more opportunities to attend grant performances in 2025. On October 25th, Contratiempo Activist Dance Theater will present Roots of Loving Us at the Venda Museum. They'll be both outdoors and inside the theater. On November 8th and 9th, Donna Sternberg and dancers present Thriving at the Helms Design Center. On November 13th, Leela Dance Collective presents Sandhi at the Gloria Kaufman Community Center at the Venda Museum. And Jazz Bakery will have 2 nights of performances in early December, also at the Gloria Kaufman Community Center. Information for all grant events is posted on the city website, in the community calendar, promoted by email, and on social media. Thank you. Sam?
Good evening. I just wanted to share what I've been doing. I've been busy working on the Colorful Communities poster project, and we received a robust number of applicants, and so I'm going through those applications, and I'll be sharing it with the Public Arts Subcommittee, and also we'll be addressing other issues like, searching for community representatives for the 5 neighborhoods that we're featuring, and hopefully I will be able to give you a more detailed update for the program. That's all I have. Thank you.
Jesse, do you have any comments?
Not tonight, thank you.
Okay, I'm surprised, Jesse. Okay, any of the commissioners want to add anything? Any exciting art or creativity related updates in your lives?
Oops. I actually went to see former Commissioner Brenda's show that she's curating, and it's about grief, and I highly recommend going to see it. It was really moving. She features, sculpture, painting, you name it, and so if you haven't seen it, I think it's still up for a few weeks. And then I just want to give a shout out again for Art Walk and Roll. It was a very successful Art Walk and Roll. It's a event that's meaningful to me because I also do live in the neighborhood, but, great kind of feeling of bringing the arts back to Culver City. That sentiment was heard throughout. And a lot of exciting art activations. The mural is wonderful. It's over on Washington Boulevard. And just, great participation ranging from AVPA to the Culver City Arts Business District and Culver City Arts Foundation. And multiple people made it happen. So thank you.
So I just wanted to remind people of some things that were coming up. We have our Creative Economy Mixer on the 29th at the Vende Museum. This will be our second one that we've had. I'm very excited about it. Econ Dev is working hard. I know Elaine's working hard to put that together along with Elizabeth. So I'm very excited to be attending that. So I hope you'll join me, commissioners, at that. We are steeped, as you just heard from Lee, in the midst of the Performing Arts Grant process. It's very exciting. It's always exciting, but this year even more so because we have aligned ourselves a little more closely with how the California Arts Council does their grant process in hopes of keeping everything as fair and transparent as possible. Lee and Sally were able to get 8 panelists, which is incredible. So we're very excited, or I'm very excited about that. And I look forward to having Commissioner Gupta on that subcommittee with me. Thank you very much. The cultural plan, we had, I think the number was 18 firms that responded to the RFP, which is extremely exciting. And staff and I also did some work on trying to cull that number down. And so now I think we're going to get back on track, I hope, as soon as possible so that Chair Mescali and I can help to choose finalists for that and bring them in for interviews and get started on this cultural plan because it is what we need at this time, and I'm very excited about it. And looking at the timelines that I saw in those proposals, it seems like it can happen relatively efficiently over the next couple of years. So I'm very excited about that process coming up. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, commissioners. I also wanted to go to Brenda's opening, and I was invited, but I chose to go have vodka and tacos instead, because unfortunately there was a conflict, and the closer location won. But I do know that I missed out, and I would like to go see it on my own. But yeah, that's a great segue to the amazing mariachi that we had at the Tito's event. I'd like to congratulate Culver Arts for putting on another really great event. It was super fun, and I used it as an opportunity to reconnect with some friends who happened to be in the neighborhood. I also wanted to second the impressive nature of Art Walk and Roll. It was a lot of things going on all at once, quite honestly a little overstimulating at points, but I really enjoyed it, and I know the artist laureate just presented, but I also wanted to highlight how much I thought that booth had a lot of energy around it, and people were engaging with it, and I really want to commend her effort in being able to do something that all of us, I think personally me, thought might be a little bit difficult, and that's like connecting with people and producing content in this digital kind of environment, and I think that was a great kind of compromising way to bring the medium into the people and kind of create almost like a pop-up studio, to collect video and audio from people live. So I thought that was great, and I think that concept can be further developed and, it's up to you guys to be part of that, the future character of the output of that relationship. I think that's great. Besides that, not much to add. Thank you, everybody.
Can we have a motion to adjourn? Moved by Vice Chair Fleischer. Would anyone else like to second?
I'll do it.
Okay, and seconded by Chair Mascali. Okay, please vote. The motion passes with 3 ayes. Thank you.